Thanks, Craig. Evening all. On a night when semi-final rugby comes to one of English rugby's outposts, to Kingston Park. Don't get to enjoy nights like this very often in the northeast. It's worth having double chips for. City footballers got to their Carabao Cup final. Wembley next weekend. Can Steve Diamond's band of sleeves rolled up types make it a doubly special weekend? The closer these two have got to the final, the more and more the selections have looked like first choice 23s. The Falcons, to be fair, have fewer resources to play with. Bath and their team sheets more often than not resemble the ones that they would put out on any given Premiership Friday, Saturday or Sunday. 3 changes to this Falcons team that started the quarter-final in the back row. Cam Neal finally steps to start his first game for the club. Frustrating wait while he recovered from a pre-season broken arm. A tight Max Clark hamstring means he is denied a reunion with old mates. Connor Doherty is at 13 instead, and Ben Stevenson comes in at 11. Andy Robinson's leading the coaching team tonight. This is the Johan van Graan selection, and there are half a dozen changes a week on from their win against Harlequins. Tucker Tonda, one of those who turned the quarter-final off the bench, starts tonight. Ewan Richards, the captain, stepping into the second row to make room for Alfie Barbary in the back row. Bath are going with a fresh midfield combo. Will Butt and Max Jomo. Joe Coconus-Singer gets the call from the off this week, while Austin Emmons is in to replace Tom de Glanville at fullback. The visitors, top of the Premiership against bottom of the Premiership. Tickets to the Premiership Cup final up for grabs. And for this lot, the promise of a season that may yet end up coloured in gold and silver, still fighting for a treble in the Challenge Cup now, leading the way in the league, and 80 minutes away. Tom Dunn knows this, 80 minutes away from the first cup final of the season. Andy Robinson has been leading the coaching team, cracking the whip in at 6:30 every morning at Farley House, and you thought it was a glamorous job. As much as Johan van Graan has picked this team, has made sure that everybody's getting game time. Players like Arthur Caldwell and Kieran Vernon in the second row. And while the little stand that the players are coming out of tonight is closed, it is packed around us here in the big stand at Kingston Park and on the terrace, because nights like this don't come around very often in Newcastle. It's time to wave the colours for semi-final night. Bottom of the table again, 3/4 of the way through the Premiership season, but it's been a season of renewed hope really when they've started to win games again for the first time in a while, particularly here, particularly in this competition. And under Steve Diamond, there's a real understanding of what they do best. We were all waking up yesterday morning to the awful news of the car crash at Kendal Rugby Club. Young Poppy Atkinson named today as the young girl who lost her life while she was on the sports pitch, and we're going to have a moment of silence for Poppy and everybody involved.
We extend our deepest sympathy to our friends at Kendal Rugby Club and all who have been affected by this devastating incident. If you can, please be upstanding as we are now to a moment's silence, starting and ending on the referee's whistle.
Well, this club and everybody involved with Newcastle feeling it as much as anyone today. The close links that they have with Kendal. So many players have come through that club who played here.
Semifinal, Newcastle Falcons against Bath Rugby.
The referee is George Selwood, in charge of the Falcons Premiership Cup win here against Sale in November. Newcastle winning 5 of their 6 pool games, home and away to Caldy, Doncaster and Sale. They reached the knockouts as the top seeds and then squeaked by Gloucester, despite the fact that Steve Diamond said they probably deserved to lose a week ago. Bath topping Pool D. They averaged 50 points a game in the wins against Ampthill and Bristol and Bedford, and then that spectacular come-from-behind win a week ago, last Friday night against Harlequins. Where's this Friday in this semi-final, taking both of these teams? Kalanchik, the captain, as he will so often tonight, doing the early dirty work. And the clearance from Sam Stewart. David Flatman and Ben Kay are alongside. Evening, both.
Good evening. Quite a first carry that from Kalanchik, wasn't it?
Decent, wasn't it? I'm not sure whether Ross Maloney had warmed his shoulders up, but they're certainly warm now.
Tom Dunn, short line out. Blamire, Jamie Blamire, into the possibility quickly, but it is Bath's to play with. And Arthur Caldwell started every Premiership game this season. It's a dry night in the English northeast, a mild night. As Kieran MacDonald tried to cotton onto that, the ball punched back towards Bath in the white. Taken by Kieran Donoghue, who impressed lots of people last Friday against Harlequins. He's at fly half again tonight. Newcastle's fullback, Elliot Obatoyimbo. There's the composure of Donoghue. What he's working, you can only imagine, training every day with the likes of Finn Russell at Farley House. Having to show his match roadworthiness tonight. Thokana Singh. Arthur Green was player of the match a week ago. He was that impressive, and there's another enormous challenge coming in. Is that Murray McCallum warming his shoulders?
Always inside, retreat.
Donoghue, that's a steepler. Ooh, and
Contact from the penalty only.
look across from Ben Stevenson there. We heard our TMO David Rose say that there was contact in the air, so we're playing the advantage here. Made that by McCallum, and that's been lost by Sammy Arnold.
It was a big hit. Bath forced to kick, weren't they? The momentum was taken out of them by the Newcastle defensive line. It was just a bit of a telegraph tip on at the line. It was just a bit easy to see coming. It was always going to get given. Numbers there. Bath not backwards on the next phase as well, forced to kick, and you now look at the result. So actually that bit predictable from Bath in attack, bit formulaic, did the job.
Kick chase has been good from Bath. They got the turnover on their last box kick. Jomo just gets that slightly wrong. He actually gets his hand to the ball of Jomo there. So it was an effort to compete, but there was also contact in the air. Right decision, penalty only.
Blamire tapped down by Van der Vault, and then the barnstorming run from Freddie Lockwood, trying to open up midfield. Blamire away quickly by Connon, and Newcastle warming hands, and this is Alex Hurl. Good to go again, despite hurting himself last Friday against Gloucester. Shoved on by Arnold. Newcastle this close. Accused of spurning too many opportunities like this against Gloucester in the quarter-finals. Steve Diamond saying they lose their way when they think the Real Madrid just do the simple stuff. Just do what Newcastle Falcons do best here. Keep it tight and know where the target is.
I think he got that. I think he got that.
George Selwood was in a perfect position. Maybe just a centimetre or two short. That's gone forwards, and Bath will have the opportunity to run from deep. Thocken a single with the ball high above his head. He did very well under a lot of pressure to turn that back on the blue and white side. Bath still with the job of getting out of the back room.
Bath showing a lot of ambition to play. Didn't do so much in the first half last week. Obviously, they conceded a lot of points, didn't go particularly well. Different philosophy tonight.
Oh no, the drink's gone. The drink's gone. I don't think it was a beer.
Does he score here? Good leg drive. Does he get the place? Not quite. Really good defence there from Stadden, just getting his body and preventing that long place.
Taken on by Neild, and Arnold going around Barbary, and Newcastle starting with a proper buzz. Brocklebank, and then Connon looking for some space on that right-hand side. Brilliantly taken, brilliant score. Alex Hurl, not the first time he's threatened early on here tonight. Second opportunity he scored.
It's a fantastic kick. You knew it was going to bounce. He needed the bounce to go his way, and it did. But this is the carry. This is what set it up. Look at Bath. They got so far to retreat. Yes, a big hit comes in from Richards, but Bath are backpedaling the whole time. Narrows them up. The bounce is perfect. It's a Christmas Day bounce. They're absolutely perfect. Austin Emmons caught narrow. It's perfect. Well, what momentum from that carry. That was brutal. One of a number of big carries from Newcastle early on.
Adam Radwan is now at Leicester, of course, but Hurl, who came in from Gloucester, happily filling that role. Big deep breath, Brett Connon. Chip towards the post, but not accurately. However, 5-0.
Everything on that play had to be perfect. From the timing of the kick to hold that middle three defence pod to just create the space, to the quality and the trajectory of the kick. Any higher and the defence get over to that. Any lower, it kicks on and goes into touch. It was absolutely on the button. Brilliant start from the home team.
That's expertly taken by McDonald. Played by Stewart. Stretching Emmons, just not quite getting there. I love that Steve Diamond line. Know what we do best and don't think we're Real Madrid, which is what they did a little bit against Gloucester last Friday.
Well, that kick was a little bit Real Madrid, wasn't it?
A little bit.
It was perfect, but it was off the back of a bit of brutish work up the middle.
It was still Wimbledon long ball, wasn't it? Anyway, he knows how he wants his side to play. The players know what they're good at. And they've started very impressively.
They have, because Bath have been physical, but Newcastle have just been more physical at the moment.
You think about that first carry from the first kick-off, Callum Chick. He's done it a couple of times. Freddie Lockwood, Sammy Arnold, they have a really punchy start.
Kicked away by Stewart.
He's stolen it, Stevenson.
Yeah. Connon under a lot of pressure from Ewan Richards, the captain. Scooped up by Donahue. Stewart had gone back to cover.
Just have a look at this take from Stevenson. Because it's Thokanasiga who's owning the space under the ball. Looks like he's got up high enough to win it, and Stevenson comes. Oh, this is the different kick.
It's nice too, though.
It's lovely.
It's a good take. Look at that.
Conan. For the ball that Blamire thought he'd won, was lost forward off a Bath hand, so advantage being played. Conan. Arnold. Doherty trying to get the ball away from a tight space, not quite managing it, but
You just wonder what Steve Diamond would have, when he's talked about doing the basics well and setting the tone. You look back all the way back to minute one, second one, this first carry. Massive from Kalinchik, and it does. These things do set a tone. Of course, there's a long way to go yet, but they do set a tone. They get the lads into it, just like a big hit the other way does. But they've started the game very powerfully, Newcastle. Very aggressive, very Steve Diamond.
It's difficult on a different surface, is it? You know, you think perfect surface. Looks like his foot slips away there.
You almost want to say to the ref before the game, look, we don't play on this every week. Could you mind giving us a couple to get into it?
He's actually got full-on the longest studs he can have on there, but he's right on his tiptoes, and you see that the front two studs are the only ones in connection, and they just slide.
It's not enough traction. It's funny because Andy Robinson before the game, he said it's about at scrum, maul, it's about getting studs in the ground is actually how he put it. And actually, Kieran Bernard could have done with a few more in the ground then for traction.
Another 20 or so would have helped. Anyway, as folk drink their beer, the kicker hopes the kick is kick. Not quite. He's in a familiar place back then. He's kicked over 600 points for Newcastle now. His next point will actually take him beyond 100 for the season for the Falcons. Just a reminder, the winners of this will play the winners of Exeter and the Championship's Ealing Trailfinders, who play down at Sandy Park tomorrow. The final is next weekend. And this is Elliot Oberty-Imbo, once of Saracens, now very much of these parts, and not one of his best.
Didn't work that, but it gives Bath a nice position. Something else Andy Robinson said was how they target and pride themselves on their set piece. It's not just winning the thing, of course, it's launching, it's scoring, it's making ground. You presume they got plans from here.
Well, Ewan Richards has been their #1 target in this competition all season. He was then. It wasn't clean ball, but it's still Bath ball, and Richards back on patrol. Newcastle giving an indication that they're not going to give free ball in the air tonight. Tom Carr-Smith, scrum half. Taken by Thokanasiga, who was up in the air for a long time. Carr-Smith, try scorer last Friday against Quins, has Bath roused themselves towards the end of the first half. This is Maloney, he's lost it. It's a
few mistakes, aren't there?
Yeah,
I know there's physicality, but there are basic mistakes. We saw the missed scrum that gave away the penalty, and then this line out. If you hit double top there, he's winning that, but you're just inviting the pressure from Van der Vault.
It was good work from Cornwall. He withstood that hit nicely, but after the mistake, Ben, at that line out that you pointed out, there was a bit of confusion. They weren't all joined up. Barbary was doing one thing, Carr Smith another, Maloney another again. Didn't really want the ball. Not quite cohesive, that.
Steve, our boss on talkback, has just asked me to apologise for any language. I don't think it was from either of you two.
Not yet.
So
Not yet.
you two are fine for the time being, but if you could just watch it, and apologies for anyone who was offended by what we might have heard. Plastic studs, do they work better?
They're fine for the back row, yeah.
Conan. No messing around, kicks long. Emmons, who made his name as a sevens player, will chase back. Sam Stewart started every Premiership game this season. These two back involved in the Gallagher Premiership soon enough. Donahue seeking space, but it was filled nicely by Obatoyimbo.
Well, Newcastle get the throw. That was certainly touched in flight. Good gain for them.
There is a feeling now that if Newcastle, if they kick to compete, they can really compete. If they kick long, there isn't that much coming back from Bath at the moment. There's plenty of weaponry out there, but the kicking quite predictable, easy to deal with, nicely fielded by Obatoyimbo, but it just wasn't the most incisive kick.
We've got to be careful as well. They will know that 6 of Newcastle's 35 Premiership Cup tries this season have been off kick returns. Conan inviting Arnold to blast some more holes. Sammy Arnold making his way back, second start after 3 months out with a knee injury. A little bit more dexterity away on the right-hand side. Oh, once again with the threat. Chick once again with the muscle. Bath offside. Van der Vault still playing the advantage, and that's what we'll need.
Another great carry from Sammy Arnold. Cam Neal standing alongside him off the back of the line out. A good carrier himself, so that double threat running at the same defender just means you can't go full on towards Sammy Arnold. You're rocking back on your heels a bit. If you do that, the quality of the carry, boy, have they missed him while he's been away, Sammy Arnold.
Geez, he's a brute, eh? And when they went back to the right, they went back blind. Actually, lots of options out there. That's a lovely ball, that lovely line. There were multiple options. Hurl hit that really hard, made really good ground. Bath backpedaling again. Then came the power.
When they go back down that blind side, they are finding just that little miss pass. They're finding Bath a little bit narrow, but coming forward so they can get round the outside of the press.
I remember Sammy Arnold when he first started to make a name for himself in Limerick with Munster. Won international recognition. He is an Ireland international. Very clever signing. Suffered a horrible knee injury in the Premiership win here against Saracens earlier in the season, but we're seeing already what they've been missing.
And with a player as aggressive and powerful as him, it's easy to just write him off as just someone who can smack the ball up. But actually, if you run straight into pro defenders, they will tackle you. There has to be some nuance. Yes, there's aggression, but there's pace, there's angles, there's some consideration to it as well. He's had a really good 20 minutes.
Well, it's not yet quite the deficit that Bath had to recover against Harlequins a week ago when they shelled 4 tries in the opening 20 minutes, but it's been a very solid and assured start from the hosts so far, and probably fair to say that Bath right now have not yet got off the bus.
Platts was saying before, wasn't he? Bath's game is all about power. Andy Robinson said our power game is all important. Now, yes, there are a few bodies missing for Bath, but there's still a lot of power out there, but they're being made to look very ordinary. Another big carry there from Callum Chick.
Chat with Luke Charteris in a minute or so as Max Ajomo tries to get Bath going on the front foot. Likewise Emmons, but once again that tight Newcastle defence slowing things down. But this is better from Bath, and again Green. That's another big tackle from Murray McCallum, who's taking names at the moment. This is Thokinasinger, and Thokinasinger putting away Staden. And for the first time in this match, just like they did a week ago, they get it together and they score the try.
This Bath is so lethal here on that wraparound play, adding an extra number, and Sam Arnold there does the first thing he's done wrong and bites in. He needs to tread water and allow the players inside to reconnect with him. But he bites on this tackle there. If he stays alive, they keep that number on the outside. They might lose some ground on the outside, but they probably tackle him into touch. But it's a really good finish. Great exploitation of numbers from Bath. The timing of the pass to allow that last defender to bite in on you. And then a really good finish from Staden.
Donohue's conversion.
We talked about the Newcastle power. Actually, this carry from Green was fantastic. Got Bath right back on the front foot. Newcastle back on their heels. Then everyone can steam onto the ball, and life's so much easier. That was a really important carry.
Staden has started in all 8 of Bath's Premiership Cup games now this season. He's enjoying minutes on the pitch and he's taking his opportunity, and I know that he is certainly one of the youngsters impressing the coaches. That was lost forwards by Alfie Barbary, who just seemed to lose his bearings for a second.
Might be a penalty advantage being played here.
I think Alex Earl just got in his eye line, didn't he? Chased that hard.
So let's have a chat with Luke Charteris. Luke, you'd have spent all week working out how you defend this Newcastle line-out. They scored 3 tries off this a week ago, Jamie Blamire's hat-trick. So take us in here. We're going to be your extra man in the line-out right now. What are you seeing? What do you want to see defensively here? If only every single line-out was like that, that would be all right, wouldn't it?
Ball on the ground. You don't want it, and then holding on the floor. Open play.
Luke, can we talk about the other set piece, the scrum? We've got David Clam and Ben Kay with us, and we saw some early slipping from, I think it was Kieran Verdon. You'd have played on these plastic pitches. The challenge of doing it right when you're on a pitch that you're not necessarily used to. Luke, that was great. You ever need a job as a commentator, you've got our number. You'd be more than welcome. Cheers. Oh, it was lost in the end by Staden, but not by much. Again, just beginning to open up a little bit more, which might suit Bath. Conan. Away to the left goes Emmons.
Retreat, keep going. Outside.
Conan once more. Obatoyembo leads the chase to make sure that Rory McConaughey is honest. Once again, the fly half picking his spot. This is one for Stevenson to bend his way over, and was that Emmons colliding in the air? Anyway, on we go. They're just outside the 22, so Conan needs to keep things alive. Donohue's stretch. Stewart. He was inside the 22, so he can find the seats.
Bit one of those, isn't it? A bit like a goalkeeper. That some goalkeepers always protect the fullback is. I think if this is the other way round and it's Emmons that gets tackled as he's going up, Stevenson's underneath it, I think that's a penalty.
Yep.
But because it's the man chasing the ball, maybe not as much protection as the fullback coming forward onto it.
It's not just that his timing was wrong, he had no idea where his opposition player was, did he? I think you're right, Ben.
Battle for the ball on halfway. Jamie Blamire clearly disagreed with the referee. It's never good disagreeing with the referee, particularly when you're wrong.
He tried Darren Browning him, didn't he? That's out. That is out. Like the Jedi mind trick. No, it's not, mate.
I just thought he was still in there.
This will be an attacking Bath line out. I love the ability to chat with people like Luke Charteris, Benny, and you've forgotten more about line-outs than you would care to remember, but it's just great to be in there live with those coaches who have put the teams through their paces all week.
What was great there is, like you talked about not swearing, that's the worst time to go to the line-out coach, just as they're defending their own line and a maul. And actually they didn't start very well. Newcastle got a bit of a nudge on them, but despite that they managed to get their hand in, dislodge the ball. So there'll be things to work on that, even though they came away
tackle off the ball there,
having
George,
stopped it.
White 8 tackle
There are
off the ball
stuff for him to work on at half-time.
It's the voice of David Rose coming in. Alfie Barbary, the man who was tackled off the ball. Verdon takes it on. And done. And Bath working hard to score a try that will give them the lead for the first time. Here's Barbary. Oh, he goes on his own. The little show and go and score. And then the great big smile.
Bit more power. We'll stop saying power at some point, but Tom Dunn with a key carry through the middle. Just needs somebody to rock Bath onto the front foot. Newcastle onto their heels.
We want Newcastle not to do that.
Alfie Barbary was an option there. He got whacked off the ball and I think he's copped a knee on knee there, so he's still a bit sore. And they're looking at it. Lovely little palm, swaps it right hand to left, does the palm in two hands, sells the dummy. That is lovely stuff, and his knee looks to be all right. Nicely finished.
Yeah, it was Cam Neild who came in with the illegal tackle, but in the end it did not impact on the final outcome.
It's funny how your knee hurts till you get the ball. It goes away. Or has it?
There's a proper heavyweight addition to this pack of forwards with their eyes set on a final tonight. Not involved a week ago, but in a lot of pain.
He's had so many injury problems, hasn't he?
Donohue's kick. Not quite. However, Bath are ahead for the first time.
Problem is, the more you're out with one injury, when you come back, your body has to get used to the rigours of playing. He does really well to recover from that initial bang, and then all he's looking for is to create a little bit of hesitation. That little show of the pass just creates enough hesitation for him to use his power. If he just carries straight away, likelihood is someone grabs his legs, second tackler comes in, knocks him over, but just making those defenders stop takes away all that defensive momentum that can be used in the tackle.
All been stolen by McDonald for the Falcons, and here's Freddie Lockwood. Stewart continuing to have a tickle down that shorter blind side. Callum Chick, a bit less of a tickle than more of one of the opposite of a tickle is starting to get a little bit misty here, a little bit chillier at Kingston Park as Imbo gathers the ball under a lot of pressure from Richards. Stuart told to get on with it. And he uses Kneeled. Evans took it in. Donahue. Jomo. Done. Tom Smith extended his contract with the club this week. Imbo, the challenge with Thokinasinger. Imbo leaps onto the seconds. Oh, and the kick again, not what Stevenson would have wanted.
Just felt like Stevenson had done the job on Maloney on the outside, and there was a 2-on-1 for the taking there. Nightmare scenario for the last defender. He gassed Maloney. There was a 2-on-1. Emmons had something to deal with. Give him something to deal with. Didn't come off.
He was standing so flat, Stevenson, for ages, waiting for that ball to come. Knew he had the beating of Maloney, but just needed to cut back in field and preserve some space on the outside. Mind you, decent kick. Two fast runners chasing after it.
Early start in the Premier League again for us tomorrow. We'll be on air at 11 from the City Ground for Nottingham Forest against Manchester City in the lunchtime kickoff, and we're back again later in the day with the evening kickoff between Wolves and Everton, both games on TNT1, and in between on TNT2 at midday the second semi-final in this Prem Cup. Exeter and Ealing, Chiefs and Trailfinders at Sandy Park for the right to play one of these two in next weekend's final, which will of course be live with us here on TNT Sports. Got a bit of Bruce Springsteen as a backing track. That was nice, wasn't it? We should do that more often. It's actually the Falcons PA guy who played Bruce, but I think we should maybe adopt that new editorial policy. Liven up the promos with a bit of the boss. Here's Barbary.
One for Thokinasinger to chase. He's been good. He's won most of these battles where he's attacked them, suggesting that he got just eased out of that by McCallum. Maybe a bit too much of a footballer's appeal. Didn't go down particularly well with the ref.
Well, they both had a laugh about it. I think Murray McCallum heard Joe Thockinasinger's appeal. Might have had some grounds.
Last scrum, I just need you a bit higher on both sides, please.
If you're as big as Murray McCallum, it's quite conceivable that you will be in the way quite often.
So many of these Falcons players in a cup semi-final for the first time, all of them trying to bridge a 14-year gap. 2011, Newcastle's last final. Lost the LV final that year. 21 years since they won a cup final, a Power Gen Cup as it was back then. 2004 against Sale.
A little bit of afters, haven't seen that for a while. Maybe Brocklebank not liking Verdon's little celebration.
Well, I think the scrum goes down, and when it goes down, there's kind of an unwritten rule most of the time that you just stop pushing. But you watch Kieran Verdon here, he just still gives him a little dig. Look, it's a little push there. Brocklebank doesn't like that. The boys don't like that. So Verdon knows exactly what he's doing. He knows he's firing him up, and it's worked.
Donahue's kick is about as good as he could have done it. Look at that. I mean, he's 6 metres out, but that's a cracker. And that really does set up Luke Charteris and his attacking line-out options here. We'll keep an eye on Tom Dunn, Ben.
Yeah, Bath's driving play was really good last week when they got back into the game. They got back in with a couple of scores from this position on the field.
Gathered in by Maloney. Not the cleanest way of doing things, but still Baths to work with. Carl Smith just pops it off the floor of this artificial surface in the northeast.
Maloney knew they had the advantage, so he just tried to play quickly, but it was just as Carl Smith looked away.
Jomo kicked through, but runned into Arnold. Emmons still chasing, still hoping, maybe scoring. He seemed to have to go the long way round, but most importantly, he got there first.
This is something that years ago Rugby League was really big on, kicking the ball directly at the post, because of the defender going back to it. You're not sure whether it's going to hit it, it just makes you hesitate, you're not sure where it's going to bounce off. This is targeted, bang at the left-hand upright, and it causes chaos, just buys the time for Emmons to get there. Straight at the post, everyone's hanging off. You can see Hurley doesn't want to overcommit to it, run into the post himself, and then he gets overtaken. Emmons goes for it, gambles, and gets the result.
Tries good, George.
3 visits to the Newcastle 22 for Bath, 3 tries. And drinking in every last second on the shot clock, Kieran Donoghue. And it's Newcastle 8, Bath 19 all of a sudden.
Max Ajomo a few times for Bath, hasn't he? He's come onto that ball with real pace in the midfield. Options either side, and out the back a real threat. This time he takes the ball, standing all but still, knows exactly what he's doing. Will Butt's been a powerful presence at outside centre, outside Ajomo, so they have to cover him. They narrow up, the kick goes through. And unfortunately, Alfie Barbery's just gone off.
You saw Hurl from that angle, though, actually colliding with the post. He had to put his hands out, stop himself. Really intelligent kick. Barbery off, that's a nightmare for him, and not a good sign for Bath either.
Well, the man who's replaced him, Jaco Coetzee, quickly getting himself involved. Fairly rapid impact off the bench for him last Friday night in the quarterfinals with a try against Quins, as Bath and their bunch of replacements started to pull away. Connor. That was Coetzee closest to him. Donoghue. Time to call for the mark.
A bit long, that. It's just with Coetzee coming on for Barbery, he's an absolute handful, Coetzee himself. Both sides of the ball, so it's not that you lose anything, it's just for Alfie Barbery, we desperately want, for his sake, yes for Bath, but for his sake, for him to stay fit, stay injury free. We hope he's all right.
So there's Coetzee. Let's hope that is nothing too serious. It's a long, lonely road back, as we know, for whatever sport you're playing. But as a rugby player, and Alfie Barbery understands that better than most. Line-out taken by Kieran McDonald. Pedro Rubiolo's season ended a while ago by a foot injury. He's already moved to Bristol to recuperate there, rehabilitate there, prepare for next season as a Bear. Thokinasinger, and Thokinasinger colliding with Stevenson, and the penalty has gone against the Falcons for some crossing.
Stevenson suggesting that he was blocked by a shielding runner, but I think he's running back towards the ball. He doesn't change his line, he doesn't deliberately slow down, but the referee says no.
He's actually changed his mind, having given it initially to Bath.
Just see here, he's running back towards the ball, does he? He does slow down, but he runs straight into him. I suppose you've got to get out of the way now.
If you're not getting back as fast as you can, you're not looking. Your number one priority is not helping your mate who's catching the ball. No. So I think he knew what he was doing. Just
Stuart Arnold. Oh, goodness me. Powering his way through Donahue, and then beautifully offloaded to Van der Vault. Stewart lays it back up. Falcons over the line and scoring. And it's the biggest man on the field, Murray McCallum. He is built like a truck.
He's built like a truck. He's been putting him out in defence all night so far. Some massive hits for this carry again. Donahue, absolute nightmare. There can't be many 12s in the Prem. Harder to tackle than Sammy Arnold. Super direct. Holes everywhere because Bath are at 6s and 7s. Van der Vault through the middle. Murray McCallum scores it, but it's Sammy Arnold up the middle doing the damage again.
Tries good, George.
It's Newcastle 15, Bath 90.
Yeah, Blamire's brilliant here. Sammy Arnold makes this bust, does really well to stay alive, 1-2 metres. Great leg drive. And then Neil spots the opportunity back on the inside, drops the ball off, but more importantly, both him and Cam Neil, they race to get there. Bath had an opportunity for a turnover on the line, really good clear out. So having made that inside ball, Blamire there to make the clear out, and then as soon as they've got quick ball there, you think there's only going to be one result, the size of McCallum following it up.
Important score as well for the Falcons just before half-time. It felt like Bath were beginning to pull clear, but that has made sure they absolutely are not. As we bear down on the break, and Chick, as he did at the start of this first half, ending the half with another purposeful run. And Conan decides that'll do. Well, he's been a standout player, Sammy Arnold. He's not been amongst the tries, but he's been very prominent. Falcons with tries that bookended the half. First for Alex Hurl and then Murray McCallum just before the break. In between timers, Bath started to find themselves. Ethan Stadden, Alfie Barbary and Austin Emmons. Chris Ashton is with Craig, and we'll hear from both of them shortly. Half-time at Kingston Park in this Premiership Cup semi-final. Newcastle 15, Bath 90.
Just to remember how Newcastle started the first half, that's a sloppy line out from Bath. It's the second one they've coughed up.
Defending from Arthur Green.
Lost that.
Offers them a little bit of stability though.
Lockwood dropped it as he was hit.
And the Jomo has it for Bath. Having to come from behind as they did a week ago against Harlequins. Players like Tom Dunn already on the pitch, and this time they have the lead as well.
Use it. Inside. Your side there.
Voice of the referee, George Selwood. Oh dear me. That came very close to hitting 4 spectators down below us who saw their lives flash before their eyes.
As soon as it went up, my eyes left the game. I knew exactly where it was almost going to land. Nearly high drama.
Anyway,
escaped it.
Their weekend not ruined. Stewart, Conant, and then the charging run again from Freddie Lockwood. The absence of Guy Pepper on the Bath side tonight means that we're denied the battle of Barney. Lockwood and Pepper, two former Barnard Castle old boys. We do have Cam Neil with us though after pretty much a season-long injury. Arnold, and then Conan, Obatoyimbo, and he had no room at all because McConaughey was on him rapidly. Brocklebank. Stewart. Arnold, oh! Put everything on it to try to find Van der Vault, but it was intercepted instead. And now it's Bath, and now it's Emmons. Carr Smith, the scrum half. Bath have an injury problem for Jaakko Coetzee by the looks of things on the far side. So they're a player down for the time being. Coetzee, who was on in the first half for the injured Alfie Barbary, and play will run towards him. So referee might choose to stop play fairly shortly. On they go. It is Stevenson, and then the whistle goes because of it, much to the frustration of those around us.
To both sides there, turning turnovers into rapid attacks. Van der Vault here, hands on the deck in front of the ball, gets away with that one. Not the most legal turnover, but then the space has to be out wide, so you have to get into that left-hand channel as quickly as possible.
The clear out, both players bent over at the break. It's just into the set space. It's not foul play.
That's the voice of our TMO, David Rose.
If you're Joe Cokanasiga chasing Stevenson back there, you're just desperate to get to that touchline, because Stevenson wants to stay outside, because he knows if he comes back inside near the injured player, the game will be stopped. So Cokanasiga can actually just peg it to the touchline, force him back inside, game stops. It was either fortunate or clever from Big Joe.
Replacement in the quarter-final, starter in the semi. Henry Arundel is going to add to Bath's Rocket Bank next season. He's on his way back to the Premiership from Racing 92. I was interested as well to see, as Italy named their side Gonzalo Quesada for the game with England on Sunday, to see Matt Gallagher on the wing for them, former Bath fullback who's headed out to Italy to make his living.
Yeah, good for him, good on him. He was a fantastic player for Bath. I think, of course, they've got Tom de Glanville, who's a wonderful runner of the ball, and he had his injury problems when Gallagher was there. But whenever he played, I thought he looked more than solid. Solid was easy. I thought he looked more than solid. Looking forward to seeing him play at Twickenham on Sunday. Good for him.
Ross Maloney has been replaced by Harvey Cuxon. I think Miles Reed has come on for Jaco Coetzee as well, who has gone off for a head injury assessment. So some alterations in that back pack, but they had the momentum there. And here's Arnold, tackled low and well by Donahue. Lockwood, who's been busy at the start of this second half. Here's McDonald. Quickly by Chick to release Philip van der Vault. Collins kick through, does work out in the end, and it works out brilliantly for Stevenson. And they're out of the seats in front of us, and the black and white flags are waving. And look at the score. And either side of half-time, the Falcons have turned around this semi-final. Now they're ahead again.
Super sharp from Newcastle. It actually looked like a bit of momentum had gone. There were some stationary carriers taking the ball. Bit of luck with the bounce. Jamie Blamire, what a player. What a bit of skill. Look how quick he's moving as he gives that ball inside to Stevenson, the flyer. He was always going to finish. Absolutely rapid Stevenson, always has been. In slow-mo, that looks quite impressive for a hooker. At full speed, that was mega from Jamie Blamire. Fantastic player.
Oh, and then the conversion. And it's a three-point lead.
Blamire is so integral, isn't he, to the good stuff that Newcastle's doing. That's 2 assists now, the inside pass for that Murray McCallum try. And then stood out in the wide channel, wins the race against Cokanasiga, gets past him. And then the speed of transfer of the ball back on the inside. Tough for them to replace, won't he? Jamie Blamire, not there next year. Interestingly enough, shows the importance of having someone like Cam Neild, who can play in a couple of positions. Steve Diamond talking about the budget here at the Falcons, and it's not quite as big as elsewhere. So having players like Cameron Neild with experience of playing in a couple of positions, really important.
We're going to have a chat with Steve shortly.
over 20 miles route.
Let's have a chat with Steve now. You've turned this round brilliantly, Steve. A couple of tries either side of half-time, and all of a sudden you're right back in this bun fight. You're not playing quite as much like Real Madrid tonight. It's a bit more to your liking, I imagine. We're having our eyes caught by the likes of Sammy Arnold, Callum Chick, Cam Neild, Jamie Blamire, of course. Who's catching your eye? Proper semi-final this, Steve. Thanks very much.
Another big hit there from McCallum. He's having a good game, getting around the field. If you run into that guard area around the Falcons, you're gonna find out about it. They do like to bang those bodies.
Yeah, Murray McCallum is worth avoiding, isn't he? That's about 5, I reckon. 4 or 5 dominant hits already in this game. Breathing hard, but he's hitting harder.
Look at that chest.
Who, McCallum's?
Yeah.
All right.
Why are you looking at me as you said that?
Look at it. And this is what he does with it. Bang. Talk about Weenie Antonio, but Murray McCallum not far off the biggest human we've come across in 2025. This is Francois Funfake, who has come on recently for Arthur Caldwell for Bath. Not going to sing a part of those, clearing some air over the ball. Here's Staddon. Just as it was in the first half, Bath have been slow to start this second half, but starting to look a little bit more eloquent now. Emmons goes down on the ball. Van der Vault has his hands on it, and he might have done enough to win it back. Philip van der Vault.
Bath short of numbers this side.
Clipped away by McCallum, and Obatoyimbo did well to make the best of a not overly promising situation initially. Blamire spills it backwards, and then shaken away brilliantly by Doherty. Lockwood pops it on to Jamie Blamire. Cam Neild waits on the left-hand side. Now he comes round to offer some extra protection for Stewart. Goes back from whence Neild had come. Another little chip across and into the arms of Stevenson. Arnold, temporary scrum half. What? There he runs into Verdon. Oh, and there's another. And it's Ewan Richards. If Newcastle's nightclubs are looking for bouncers tonight, they need do no more than come here. There are 2 or 3 would happily do a job for them later.
Not the NFL. Without helmets. Shots on shots.
This was lovely, wasn't it? How he shaped his body and protected the space. Threw the ball over his shoulder, but then this a little bit less delicate. Oh, shit. X-rated.
That was big. I mean, the legs have been taken care of, haven't they? But I've got a feeling that Ewan Richards coming in like that, at that angle,
does really well to stay low enough, doesn't he? Because often when there's 2 tacklers, the second tackler in struggles to keep that height, particularly on a dipping player.
Big fan of his. Ewan Richards, really, really good player. Back row, second row, very, very talented. Puts it about.
Newcastle making a change in the meantime at tight head. Richard Palfreman is on, former London Irish and Worcester man, and Murray McCallum can head off and admire his chest.
Rest the chest. You only grow when you rest, of course. Palfreman's got a job to do here to fill those boots. Never mind the set piece, that's all well and good, but defensively.
Half an hour to go, 3 points in it. At the moment, it is Newcastle heading to the Premiership Cup final, where they will play one of Exeter or Ealing, who meet tomorrow here on TNT Sports. So a lunchtime kickoff. A little bit of a Six Nations appetizer for you. Fabulous weekend of rugby union starting here on an increasingly misty night in the English northeast, with the hosts ahead. Well, that might work out. Oh, it's taken brilliantly. Stevenson! Let the roars carry him home. They're not there yet. There's a long way to go yet. But if that helps take the Falcons to a cup final, what a try.
This is one of those moments where everyone can see it. Is it going to happen? Is it? You see at the distance he's coming from. And then, yes, wins the race. I think he beats Donahue there. But that perfect hang time on the kick. Makes it for himself, doesn't give up. The timing couldn't have been better of the drop. Didn't have to break stride. Straight in under the sticks.
I tell you what, the hang time may have been perfect. It helps when you're absolutely rapid. He was flying onto that. I don't know if they call it dominating the space or whatever, but he just didn't hesitate, did he? Steamed in, absolutely full speed into that. Bath defenders both hesitated. Donahue and Emmons, second guessed, steamed onto that. That was fantastic.
And a Newcastle side who trailed 19-8 approaching half-time now lead 29-19. They've scored 3 unanswered tries, and that was as good as anything you'll see all season. Still getting his breath back. He might be when he goes to bed tonight. That was something else. Lamaya wants it. And the Volt there to offer his heavyweight support. So too Brocklebank. Jaco Coetzee is about to be reintroduced for Bath. He has passed his head injury assessment.
Crucial for Bath now. You feel they have to score next, because last week they obviously let Quins get out to that lead, but they had a monster bench to come on and change the game, and they did change the game. They don't have quite the same power off the bench. They've already had to use a couple, certainly in the back row.
That Bath change, by the way, Jaco Coetzee reintroduced. It's actually Arthur Green who will make room in the back row. Barbary, who went off injured in the first half, to be replaced by Jaco Coetzee, who is back with us now. Dunn goes long to Ajomo. Neil came up. Ajomo managed to step around him, and then 2 or 3 of his mates set up a very handy position here for Bath, who need some handy positions. Not really got it going in this second half as Van Veek drives it forwards. Here's Coetzee. Well, the first time that Bath have taken the ball into Newcastle's 22 and not come away with a try.
Well, the initial... Sorry,
Nick. Applause for Polframan.
The initial work from Max Ajomo was fantastic. Not quite sure how he got through there, but from then Bath, it was aggressive and it was direct, but it was narrow. There wasn't that much ambition to it. Polframan did really, really well to turn this over. But those couple of carries, they were aggressive, but they didn't ask too many questions of those Newcastle defenders. I wonder if Bath made a break like that again, if they might move the ball a little wider.
I just think they're a little bit inaccurate tonight, Bath, when they're placing the ball back. Stewart's having to really work to find it. We saw Ajomo there with the carry. The ball got dislodged, it's bobbling around, then the next time in there's a foot on it. They need to be playing with pace, Bath. They need Stewart to be able to just bend down and bang, the ball's gone. At the moment, it's just taking that fraction of a second.
Taken by Van der Voort away very quickly. Connon to a charging Lockwood. It's a kick that could be anyone's. Stockton Singer was determined it would be his, and Falcons offside, Bath penalty.
It's a hell of a carry from Lockwood up the middle, but the kick undermined it a bit, didn't it, and took all the sting out. Bath have got a shot now to put themselves in a great spot.
It's quite difficult when you're in that position of the forward, isn't it, Flats? If it's kicked straight up in the air and you've just got up from a breakdown, you don't even know where it is. And then the ball, you actually end up standing still thinking the ball's gone down the field a little bit. What a carry that is, though. Reid does really well to hold on to him, and chewing gum tackle, pull him over.
This has been one of the games of the season.
Been great.
It's been so much fun, so much good stuff. Big hard carries, colossal tackles, brilliant tries. Tom Dunn, as Bath try to relaunch another rescue mission a week on from the one against Harlequins. This one feels a little bit different, though. They've not got the cavalry to bring off the bench tonight. Sarah Cox making sure that everything is above board. Assistant on that far side. It's being kept tight. There's not a lot of room to move in, but Bath continue to make ground. It's McDonald who's slapped backwards. Here's Cuxon, debut in this competition in November. How Bath could do with a try here. Will Butt. Van Veek drove it on. 10 metres short. Dunn has a quick look up to see what was on.
They'll be super accurate with their clear-outs here, Bath. Newcastle all over them. They've gifted them an opportunity, though.
Ajomo. He held it up beautifully for Emmons. And the side who had to score next do score next.
I tell you what, when Max Ajomo's really on it and he's got a split second, he's such hard work, he's so hard to contain. We saw with the break through the middle a couple of minutes ago, I think he might have got a sensational offload away here to Austin Emmons. Makes the half break, he gets the ball, there's actually not much on. Newcastle come up hard and cut down the option, the immediate option. So he goes through the middle, slips it away. Gorgeous piece of skill.
The arc, isn't it, to get him round and get his back past the inside defender, which forces the outside defender to close the gap. Few Newcastle fans just questioning whether that had gone forward, but what an offload.
George tries to...
Donahue over the conversion, and the 22-year-old adds another 2, and we're back within 3.
Successful conversion by Bath.
Slight delay, has a look, throws the pump pass just to see defenders make a decision for him. And great quality, and actually Emmons does really well just to tread water, allow him time to get that ball away rather than overrun the offload.
Well, he probably thought he was going to get the ball straight away and flat, didn't he? Easy to overrun that.
You honed his game on the 7 circuit, following his mate, being an option, being on the shoulder. He did it brilliantly just then. And Conan, as the mist really starts to fall now, and taken by Coetzee. It's actually becoming increasingly one of those nights with the mist and these low-slung lights at Kingston Park that the ball, the high-kicked ball, won't be that easy to pick up sometimes. It's the problem right now for Conan, but Newcastle were offside, so Bath's exit will be a little bit more studied.
They were, I mean, understandably, they were desperate. They were frenzied at that breakdown, weren't they, Newcastle? Overstepped the mark, went offside when the ball was bobbling around, too tempting to resist.
Just a reminder, if the scores are level after 80 minutes, then we've got extra time. Ben's got to get to Dublin tomorrow. Oh, that's coming our way. Ooh. Thankfully hit the girder. Otherwise we might have relied on Ben catching a rugby ball, which is never one of the cast iron things to rely on.
I would say I'm here, don't worry, but I was even worse.
You're in real problems if Nick's the man.
I was shielding myself behind you, Benny. Oh, line out one. A lot of pressure. It was well taken in the end by Stadden. Pearl's kick. Donahue. That ball was out. James Clark, assistant on this near side with his flag raised. Thumbs up from Will Butt. Actually, one of those inside centres flickering around the edges of Steve Borthwick's radar, you would imagine. Will Butt, big, powerful, wears 12. There's a lot to like about Butt. Bath might want us to be mentioning him a little bit more than we have done so far. Into the final quarter of a fabulous Premiership Cup semi-final. Arnold with the pass and then very quickly in to make sure the ball's Falcons again to work with.
Great clear out that.
Stewart's kick. Pearl just had to bend and then delay his run, which meant that by the time it got to McConaughey, the pressure wasn't quite as much as it might have been. Miles Reid. He's chopped down by Lockwood. Lockwood's in the mood tonight. McConaughey, perhaps favourite for this. He did get there first. He was being buffeted around by Obatoyimbo. Carr Smith finds a Jomo and Bath at full speed again, and once more it's a Jomo. Chick on his back to bring him down, and Carr Smith once more. And Bath will happily put pressure on this defensive Newcastle lineup.
Bath have what they have been good at is that ability to press the accelerator when there's an opportunity and go quickly. Good analysis of space there from Carr Smith, and Jomo's been a real handful down that middle section of the field.
But it's almost like the damage he's done at Jomo is almost, a lot of it's been off his own back. It's been getting it with not many options and using brilliance to do something rather than hitting crafted space, rather than separating Newcastle's midfield. It's a kind of an individual effort a lot of the time.
Lemaya's throw. Tom Dunn trying to work out where this might go. It goes to Kieran McDonald.
Really smart call from McDonald there. Everyone thinking that he's going to go to the back and then shoot forward. He stepped into the line out, took another couple of steps back right away from the defensive pod. That opens up a nicer angle for the kick as well.
But there, Benny, it looks like he's there, responded to how Bath are defending, moved away from the pod, backed himself, made a late caller. They're line-out callers even at pro level who aren't that good at adapting, and they kind of know what they're going to call whatever happens before they get there.
Like, I suppose it's like anything, isn't it? But so much of it is a feel that when you get on the field, what the opposition are doing, just being able to just adapt things slightly on the hoof are probably the difference between the really, really good ones and those that are a bit more formulaic and they go through with the move because they've called it.
Reed, Coetzee, Archie Griffin, Bath replacement tight head, warming himself up. Love to see a bit more of the Welshman Griffin. A bit more after injury as well. That'll be a welcome sight. No way through for Reed. Thockin the Singer. Tackle by Neild. Taken on by Buck. Nicely. This is Richards. And once again, Bath looking likely with Reed. Ajomo whips it away to McConaughey. But Newcastle, the quality of the counter-up. Obotoyimbo was there, Doherty was there, collective effort. They're the big little moments, the very big little moments.
Just now need to complete the job, get the exit right.
He went a long way from the breakdown there, didn't he? Stewart took a good few steps there, nearly got caught.
I'm not sure whether he picked it up cleanly. It almost looked like he was trying to reposition the ball before he kicked it. And he was under big, big pressure.
But he sort of left his 1 metre zone of protection, didn't he? Great counter-rucking from Newcastle. Really good effort.
Staddon's putting him under pressure, but does he just fumble it as he picks it up? No, I think he just has a look, doesn't he? He's not... lifts his head and wants to see where he's kicking it first.
Might have seen Ethan Staddon just have a word as well with Sam Stewart on the way back through. Along the lines, perhaps, of I'll get you next time. This semi-final, beautifully poised, and Bath pressing again to regain a lead that they held, it seemed, confidently not so long ago. It's Doherty with the latest important tackle. Clipped through, chased by Ajomo, but a little bit too much on that.
It's so difficult when you've got the talent playing against you that Newcastle are facing, but this is where defensive coaches say, keep going forward, just keep going forward. Because there, if Sammy Arnold goes forward, but the man outside of Doherty doesn't, they're in real trouble. But because Doherty trusts Sammy Arnold to make that tackle, keeps racing forward, he manages to catch man and ball, dislodge it. Unfortunately, he's given himself a little bit of an injury.
And he gets McConaughey early because he keeps moving forward. He gets him while he's moving laterally before he's got around that corner and straightened up and got him dangerous.
Bath are making changes. Louis Hennessy is on for Austin Emmons. I wonder if that means that Kieran Donahue might go to fullback. Hennessy perhaps to 10, we will see. And James Elliott is on at scrum half for Sam Stewart, and Archie Griffin is on for Kieran Verdon, going back to the Bath change at tight head.
Looks like Hennessy's gone onto the left wing. McConaughey's dropped back as though he's going to play fullback.
It was Archie Griffin, Wales international, making his return from injury. Started the 3 tests in November. You'd have only imagined he would have been part initially of Warren Gatlin's plans, but shoulder surgery in December. He's making his way back. And Brocklebank and Van Fake having prop chat. What does prop chat sound like, Flats?
There'll be something fatigue-based.
Doherty's good, which is good. Blamire. Oh no, too much, and the charging done, set up by Van Fake. First line out, lost by either side. How costly. Might cost Falcons the lead. Van Fake wants it. Coetzee, who scored in the quarter-final, Newcastle offside again, and Bath pressing that close. Griffin amongst those digging away for the ball. Miles Reed, part of the crew that took the ball there, and it's going to be checked by George Selwood. Francois Funfait gets up and says, what about it? So Sarah Cox just wants to know if there was a knock-on.
Okay, George, so on-field try, we're just checking for a knock-on before the ball goes over the line. Okay. You're showing the first angle now, George.
Is there a knock on here that Sarah Cox just asked about? I think that goes off his foot, doesn't it?
That's not.
It goes backwards, hits a foot, it's picked up in that first picture. Showing the one here which is closer.
That's his foot, never goes forward. That's okay. They're pretty happy that they saw it on the line, so it'll have to be any reason they can't give it.
So it was Archie Griffin who was just short, and then Francois Funfait comes in
Check, George, there's no knock on.
and makes the line.
I don't think you're going to see it, but the referee seen it.
Yeah, George, those are all the angles. I've got nothing which disproves your on-field decision.
Thank you, so we stick to the try.
What I like with George Selwood, I'm sure Newcastle don't like it. He blew the whistle and then he signalled for the TMO, but he bought himself time to see how the players got up. He thought he'd seen it on the line, but he didn't immediately give a decision whether it was I haven't seen grounding, but let's check, or whether I have seen grounding. He just took his time slightly and allowed him a bit of breathing space to make that decision himself. Was happy he'd seen the ball on the line as they all got up. And we didn't even need to check the grounding. It was just a knock-on.
So Kieran Donahue to establish a 4-point lead. Oh, that is a magnificent kick. And Francois Funfait score.
Just think about the line out that cost them. Bath are nowhere near it, really. It's just to fluff their lines, Benny, haven't they? And if you're going to go and lose a semi-final after playing this well, that's a pretty underwhelming way, anticlimactic way to go and do it. They've got a bit of time left, but they gifted that possession to Bath, really. Bath just took their chance.
Taken by Kutsia. Works hard to initially catch and then retain possession. Over 10 minutes to go. Premiership Cup semi-final that swung this way and that.
Just bearing in mind what's been successful for them. I reckon we might see Sammy Arnold down the middle here if they win this cleanly. They've actually lined their whole back line directly behind Cameron Neild. Just trying to create some confusion.
New fly half, Kieran Wilkinson gets the ball away. Arnold no way through there. And then Chick's pass tied it up eventually by Hurl, who makes his way back over halfway. Chick. Elliott. Newcastle with two new halfbacks now. James Elliott, the scrum half. Kieran Wilkinson, the fly half. Philip van der Volt, second row, still very much with us. Elliott's kick taken by Donahue. Clear out needed by Butt. Carl Smith with one to chase and compete for, which Louis Hennessy did happily. Hennessy on this left wing. Here's Wilkinson, signed from Leicester this season, having the confidence to do what he did.
Just losing that aerial battle slightly now. Obotoyindo not really committing fully to that, just gets beaten to the chase. Just hesitates for a fraction, doesn't he? Allows Hennessy to get right up in his face and dominate that space under the ball.
Well, Lockwood could have taken that, couldn't he? Because I think it was batted back by Hennessy, but he didn't want to risk it in case he was catching his mate's knock on. Bath 40 yards later.
And with the new hooker, Jasper Spandler, 21-year-old, who started the quarter-final, getting the instructions from Griffin.
Great first throw.
Carl Smith in there. Hennessy jumping around not far behind. All the threat away on the right-hand side now, though, led by a Jomo. And this is Butt. Hung on to grimly by Sammy Arnold. Donahue, tough for the pass, was blocked, so he made good ground. What strength of, 4 or 5 metres. Griffin away beautifully, but... And now you're thinking that another Bath score might start printing the blue and white cup final tickets. Reed, he's held on to by Ollie Leatherbarrow, who's just come on for the Falcons. Cucks and waits beyond him to Hennessy. Coetzee, he not needed. Griffin, the next employed. A Jomo barking out the orders not far away. Joe Thokanasinger, we peer through the mist and see on the far right-hand side, hugging that right touchline, may yet be significant. Falcons have seen the threat. They've got players over there defending. Stevenson's watching hard, so too is Obotoyimbo. In the meantime, the threat remains straight down the middle and muscular. Carl Smith, now maybe Thokanasinger. A Jomo, though, was very quickly wrapped up by Wilkinson. That's a Bath penalty. Free ball. Another huge hit, but the try is scored. Another almighty midfield collision.
Well, the ruling is that although Callum Chick absolutely barrels him on this next tackle, clear out here, penalty advantage anyway, as he releases him before he hits the floor. Chick is down. Has he got his right arm wrapped? But anyway, referee's happy. Doesn't matter what we think.
Staden not tackled. Back on his feet, scores the try. The Premiership Cup is meant to be about the introduction of new names, fresh names, and Ethan Staden may well have scored the try that takes Bath to the final. Conversion drifts wide, but that lead feels like a significant one now.
Well, it felt like Newcastle needed either a big turnover or a big moment of aggression. A couple came, that was one shot where Ethan Staden felt he wasn't held. The ref agreed, try score, but actually what gave Bath the advantage before that, I think it was Connor Doherty came steaming in on the counter-up from the side, trying to have an impact, gave Bath the advantage, freed them up to score that.
He's done well, Staden, hasn't he? Even if it's a slight gamble, it's a good time to take a gamble, isn't it? That close to the opposition line, you've got the lead already.
Well, we talked about how Newcastle had scored 3 tries around half-time to turn this match on its head. They led 29-19 at that stage, and since then, Bath through. Emmons and Van Fake and Staden have scored 3 tries of their own. And now they lead by 9. It's been a corker of a semi-final. Neil LaRue is on, 21-year-old South African who joined this season, Springbok under-20 caps. He takes the place of Tom Carr-Smith. Five minutes to go. Is this game done? Is this semi-final done? Or have the Falcons got anything left to give?
They can't afford scrum resets. They've got to just go.
Ollie Fletcher now in the middle of that Newcastle front row. On for Jamie Blamire. These are frustrating moments that Newcastle could have done without, but Bath will happily take, and Coetzee gallops away. Cuxon. Snapped away by LaRue. Hurl. Hunted down by Hennessy. Wilkinson, Arnold, all hoping for space and profit. Archie Griffin with the tackle. Van der Vault. Arnold had to be away quickly to find Wilkinson. And Doherty, it looked as if there might have been at least one, perhaps two forward passes in the middle of all that, but on we go. Polframan. Bath have the penalty. They can absolutely finish it here if they want. Well, the casino call is to kick for touch and go for the driving line out, but
you can take a minute off the clock by taking the points.
No doubt in Captain Ewan Richards' mind, let's close down the clock, let's bank the 3 points if we can, let's see this semi-final out. Playing the ball on the floor, Ollie Fletcher in his enthusiasm. It's been such an impressive Premiership Cup campaign for young Kieran Donahue, whether at fullback or at fly half for Bath this season. And it would be appropriate if he delivers the kick that ends the debate here. Every single second used. Off she goes, between the posts, up go the flags. Bath are heading to another final. 2 minutes to go. Newcastle 29, Bath 41, and we can pick our player of the match, Ben.
Yeah, I think that's the final nail in the coffin for Falcons, isn't it? It's been a brilliant battle in midfield. In particular, Sammy Arnold's been outstanding for the Falcons. I think the man who's been the spearhead of everything good about Bath tonight is Max Ajomo, and he's our Premiership Rugby Cup player of the match. It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Larue's clearing kick. Obatoyimbo into the arms of Hennessy. The advantage won't last long, and the ball eventually dribbles out. It's been a cracking game, this, hasn't it? For a while, as Newcastle forced their way back into it, you thought that it was them going back to another cup final, the first in a long time, but the way Bath responded to falling behind, and a fair way behind midway through that second half.
Yeah, I think it's been fascinatingly poised 3 or 4 times this match, actually, and I think that Bath haven't had the punch off the bench they had last week against Quins in the quarter-final. of this competition, but the bench has done enough. I think Jaco Kutsia came on earlier than he thought, but he's made a big difference. There's been, just as Steve Diamond said, when Bath have had a chance to score, they've gone and scored. And Newcastle have played brilliantly for loads of this game, but they have left a few opportunities out. They haven't quite been as clinical. But I tell you what, the scoreboard doesn't reflect the game I've watched. Doesn't feel like that. That Newcastle have been really impressive.
But once more, collision on collision. Kutsia. Clock ticks into the 81st minute. And that'll do. And Newcastle's brave Premiership Cup run comes to its conclusion. Their wait for a big domestic cup final goes on, but not Bath. The team who pretty much owned this trophy in the late 80s, in the 1990s, the Jack Rowe years, heading back to compete for a bit of silver that's had a fair few names down the years, but has had Bath's name on it a record number of times as well. And they are the first team to book their place in this year's Premiership Cup final. They've won here and won well, really digging deep in the second half. Final score at Kingston Park, Newcastle 29, Bath 41.
It's a cracking performance from the Falcons. It was a great game to watch, wasn't it? But I think this Bath side, it almost feels like their season a little bit, doesn't it? You know, when you see great teams, you see it in football, you see the likes of Man United when they were dominating Man City, they don't play particularly well, or it feels like the game's in the balance, and at the end they just pull away from teams. They just have that confidence in their ability that somehow we'll get it done. The performance last week when there were massive points down against Harlequins, this Bath team looked the real deal this year, and this is just another step on what they want to achieve this year. Great performance for them to get themselves into the final. Great bravery to fight back from that 10-point deficit.
And I think while Newcastle, understandably and rightly, will be shattered to have got as far as the semi-final in this competition, not make it to the big dance to the final, I think when they reflect on it, there will be a lot of good things to watch next week. And when they get back into the Gallagher Prem, I think there will be lots of examples, lots of affirmation within that camp that they can actually carve up really, really good teams. They can physically dominate teams whose brand is power first and foremost. They can have periods of domination, periods of assertion, really creative. They look fit, hungry, aggressive. They just didn't quite have it against a team at the moment who just knows how to win.